Hi guys, it's Jeffries and welcome to the Beyond Dating Tips Advice for Men Mastery Series, How to Meet Women Anytime, Anywhere. This is video 3 out of 10. This video is entitled How to Destroy Approach Anxiety and Start Talking to Women. I want to give you a radically different view about approach anxiety. I don't think approach anxiety really is about fear of rejection. I don't think it's about past bad experiences. I don't think it's about a lack of some mysterious thing called confidence. I don't think it's really anxiety about approaching at all. I think approach anxiety is neurological friction. It's the internal friction produced by two conflicting desires. What are those conflicting desires? Your desire to move forward and talk to the woman is conflicting with your equal and opposite and equally strong desire to stand still and not say a word until you're guaranteed you're going to get it perfectly right and get a successful result. So look at this illustration of a toy car. If you had the controls for these cars and you gave it the signal to turn left and right at the same time, what would happen to the car? It'd probably shake and the gears would grind and the motor would burn out. That's a good metaphor for what goes on inside neurologically when you have approach anxiety. You're shaking and the motor is burning out. The gears are grinding because you're giving yourself the command to move forward and talk. At the same time, you're saying, no, stay perfectly still and make sure I get it right before I say a word. It's not about external threat. It's not about something that's going to happen to you out in the world. It's about an internal conflict. That signal of anxiety doesn't give you any information at all about the external situation. It says nothing about it. All it does is tell you there's an internal conflict going on inside. So it's not even anxiety about the woman. It's neurological friction. It's like, if you were doing this and pushing, two conflicting directions, you're going to begin to get tired. So there are three common solutions to approach anxiety. They all don't work very well. Number one is to try to add in more certainty by spinning in your head. Talk to yourself. Try to find a perfect solution that's perfectly, absolutely going to guarantee you have a successful result. Another bad solution is to push through the pain. Now that's certainly better than sitting there. The problem when you push through pain is you're pushing pain out ahead of you, and that painful vibe is not very attractive. The other problem is that you're pushing through so much pain, that pain creates a lot of noise in your system. So you can't tell how the other person is actually responding to you. For all you know, she may actually like you, but you're looking at her through such a haze of pain, you can't even see it. The third bad solution is to temporarily pump yourself up into a super state. Spend weeks building up your confidence and finally getting to the point where you just feel absolutely amazing about yourself. Now, I do talk about rehearsal confidence in an earlier video, but this is something different. I'm talking about like a Tony Robbins super peak state. The problem with pumping yourself up is it takes a lot of energy. It's exhausting. And then if you don't get what you want, you're back to square zero. So here's the solution. I want to introduce a concept, equanimity. Equanimity means a radical acceptance of the ongoing flow of sensations and feelings. It says nothing about what you do in the world. You can be active in the world and still have equanimity. Equanimity has to do with how aware you are and how accepting you are of that flow of feelings in the body. So equanimity means you don't resist or fight the feelings, but you don't buy into them either. You don't draw any conclusions from them either. Remember in the previous video we talked about story? Well, you unhook the feelings from the story. So all you do is have the raw experience of the feeling without adding in the story and without fighting or resisting it either. So let me give you a quick how-to have equanimity with that raw feeling of anxiety. First thing you're going to do is tune into the actual physical sensations. You're going to tune into the raw physical sensations. You're going to ignore the dialogue, the things you tell yourself, ignore the imagery, ignore the story. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to surrender any effort to fight it or change the feelings. Remember they used to say in bad sci-fi movies, resistance is futile? Well, resistance is futile. You're not going to try to change it. When you fight with feelings, when you get nervous and tense around feelings and resist them, they just become stronger. You create neurological pushback. You don't want that. So what you're going to do is relax everything around the feelings, but the feelings themselves you're not going to try to relax. So everything around the feeling, all the muscles around it, you relax. But the actual feeling, you stay present with. Then every 10 seconds, you're going to note to yourself out loud, same or changing. I got this from my meditation teacher since I'm young. So it'll sound like this. Same, same, changing, changing. And what will happen is, if you stick with it over time, within maybe 2 minutes, the feeling will stop being something that conflicts you, and instead it will release into energy. It will release into just raw feeling that you can surf across. What does this lead to? This not only leads to the anxiety diminishing greatly to the point where you can actually move through it or move with it. It leads to something I call stealth charisma. What does that mean? Here's the deal. Very few people know how to experience feelings of anxiety, nervousness, fear. Very few people know how to experience those feelings without fighting them or buying into them. Most people fall back on one or both of those bad choices. Sometimes they go from one to the other, and they have no emotional stability at all. That's often the case with people. But when you can experience these feelings without fighting them, without buying into the story, you gain an acceptance of uncertainty. You no longer need a guarantee before you move into an uncertain area of life. When you can walk into an uncertain area of life without fighting the feelings and without needing the approval of other people, when you can give other people radical permission to have their first response to you when you're moving into an area where you're not quite comfortable, something magic happens. This willingness to walk through uncertainty without a guarantee is an incredibly attractive trait, because most people in this world won't make a move unless they have a guarantee. I can guarantee you one thing, speaking of guarantees. I can guarantee you those beautiful women who used to intimidate you, every single one of them has some area of their life where they would like to make a move, something they would like to do, but they're afraid they won't do well, so they never make the move. They wait. They look for someone to rescue them or to do it for them. So when you can walk into a situation and not need approval of others and be okay and not buy into the feelings around the story around those feelings, you gain a level of attractiveness that doesn't even depend on social skills. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't aim at social skills. Social skills are vital, but you don't need that. You can have it right now. You can have this stealth charisma that's undetectable and absolutely irresistible, because it's based on your choice and your ability to handle things without needing a guarantee. Once again, I have a free 5-part speed seduction sexual language course. If you haven't gotten your course already, you can smile to yourself as you find yourself going to www.seductionforfree.com. That's the number 4, www.seductionforfree.com.